AEW Winter is Coming has come and... okay.
Fletcher.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry that this is coming out a day later than it usually would have. The last 2 days have been so busy elsewhere in my life, but I figured I'm really enjoying AEW again nowadays, so I thought this would be worthwhile even if it's a day late. This show began with the Women's Tag Team Championship finals between the Babes of Wrath and the Timeless Love, and apparently a motorboat from Harley Cameron. Dolphziggler2019.mp4.
Yeah, Harley did a great job. Yes.
And I will be at AEW Dynamite next week in Manchester, so if you see me, say what's up. We'd see a big showdown between four-time AEW champion Timeless Toni Storm and Willow Nightingale in the early going. But despite partial domination from the Love Bombs, Willow is just too powerful.
Breaks through the lariat, attempt and takes both members of the opposition down.
Willow gets some momentum going off the ropes. It's trouble.
Willow has her legs wrapped around Mina, using this position to go for multiple pinfalls too, but Mina would get back in control.
Mina Shirakawa turns things around on Willow, the DDT.
Toni Storm would tag in and change the complexion of this entire contest for the Love Bombs.
Legal for the Love Bombs and Mongolian chops delivered after the drop kicks. And now Toni Storm going to work. DDT.
We then see a figure 4 counter battle between Mina and Harley, all while Willow comes in and has an Indian deathlock as she barrels down on Storm. And overall, this was a pretty fun finals.
Willow blocks the DDT on the floor.
Oh.
Harley slips behind.
Oh! That's her finishing move!
That's her finishing move, said with the same energy as, I think he's through playing around.
As Willow the Babe with the power bomb.
But the Babes of Wrath were through playing around because they became the inaugural champions. Me too. Me too. They then have a wholesome post-match interview with Renee Paquette. Harley grateful to win the belts with a woman she had her second ever match against. There's even a respect moment afterwards too from the Love Bombs. Here's my only slight nitpick of this match. In short terms, I do think for someone like Harley Cameron and others on the roster, AEW would benefit from some kind of performance center eventually. She's not bad, but I do think having somewhere you can further refine the smaller things would only benefit the various stars you're building on your roster. And we did hear a rumor that one would be starting with Edge, Beth Phoenix, and FTR some time ago, so maybe they're still working on it, I don't know. We then hear from Samoa Joe before his title defense against Eddie Kingston.
I am ruthless by design. Eddie, I do not care about men like you because you're in the way of what I have.
This is, as usual, a magnificent Samoa Joe promo.
The man that you looked up to, it was a wonderful idea. But the man that's gonna beat your ass tonight, oh Eddie, this is the man who's gonna show you the reality of what this industry is.
God bless Samoa Joe. We then transition into the Death Riders and Jon Moxley. Moxley says he's feeling alive, but his back is against the wall in this Continental Classic. He says if there's one grain of sand left in the hourglass, he can score, and he can score big. So count him out. He says if you need circumstances to be ideal for you to try, then maybe you just suck.
We're the hungriest group of individuals in professional wrestling. That's why we are the hardest working group of individuals in professional wrestling.
Daniel Garcia says every day when they wake up, they choose to win.
A lot of people, you think it's too cool to try, that's lame, I'm telling you right now. And if you want something, you have to go take it. And that's what we're gonna do every single time.
We then moved on to more Continental Classic action where Jack Perry took on Okada.
There's no money in making friends. Friends cost you money, Shivani.
Jack.
This Jack on top.
Jack comes off the elbow strike. 1, 2.
Okada hits a big drop kick, sending Perry to the outside as he sells his ankle.
Okada slips underneath and lands the drop. Oh my goodness! To the floor.
And reportedly, Perry actually thought he was hurt here, which caused a brief delay. But later on, he said he felt fine and he kept going. Okada stays in control for a while until Perry gets back in this one with a magnificent German suplex.
Went to the corner, reverse Jack. Leaps over Okada. No way! German suplex!
As the timer continued to count down, we reached the halfway point.
Bringing Perry to an upright position. Look for the Rainmaker. No, Perry. Behind. Poison Rana avoided. Drop kick. Oh my.
We'd see an incredible near fall after a reverse Hurricane Rana and running knee combo.
Stage action. And Perry looking for that running knee strike. He finds it. 1, 2, no.
Jack Perry really took the greatest tournament wrestler of all time to his limits in this one.
Looking for the snare trap, and Okada though. Oh, biting.
What's he doing? Oh, he bit him in the crotch.
And by limits, I mean he bit him in the dick.
Nice. Rolls through, maintains with boom. Control. A second Rainmaker. Delivered yet another knee, but Okada. Oh!
Just sensational scenes from Okada here as per usual. Okada crucially pushing his way up to 6 points in 3 matches, while Fletcher has 6 points in just 2, with a chance to get 9 later in the show, but we'll get to that. After the match, Callis talks to Jack Perry. He says, maybe I invested in the wrong guys with the books. He says, Perry lacks direction and focus, and he needs a team around him. The Callis family. He offers him a spot in the family and even a signing bonus with the Young Bucks money. But Perry has already made his decision despite the numbers game.
And it looks like, for the second time tonight, I might bite off a little more than I can chew.
Oh, Jack Perry! Go get him, Jack!
The Bucks and Luchasaurus back up Perry as Callis is surrounded. Takeshita would take the bullet for Callis.
Trying to pay off the Young Bucks, and wait a second, in comes Takeshita. Oh, Takeshita! And a Rocky Romero gets planted by Luchasaurus.
Very compelling stuff being told around this storyline, especially with Takeshita and Okada. They also went ahead and announced that next week in Manchester, it'll be the Elite versus the Callis family, featuring Okada and Takeshita, to which I say, God damn! I'ma get to see Okada and Omega tangle live. I can't believe it. We then see a celebration featuring the Conglomeration backstage and even the Timeless Love Bombs appearing again. Then we'd see a vignette documenting the slow, crazed downfall of Mercedes Mone as her ego and greatness has been called into question lately. Of course, noting on something like that big loss recently to Red Velvet, so she's not doing great.
Looking to get off the ropes. Down the roll through. Cover to the step.
There would be a great interview with Eddie Kingston from Renee. Kingston would say, it's been 50 years since Terry Funk won the World's Championship. He says he's trying not to crash out because he has respect for Renee, but he's ready to get warmed up. He's failed before and world title chances come few and far between for Kingston. So he's trying to make this count.
I know you're watching. I know you're warming up, stretching, all that good jazz, right? With all your homies and with Hook. You're gonna have the fight of your life, dog. I ain't going down easy, huh?
We then hear from Mark Briscoe, who talks about all the doubters before he became champion.
Respectfully, give them a very clear and concise message that y'all can kiss my big white ass.
Then we'd go ahead and hear this commentary moment.
To be clear, Brian, it's big because of the beans and cornbread.
That's absolutely true.
Face Bryan Danielson and Excalibur. Briscoe says it's one thing to become champion, it's another to stay champion. Before he's interrupted by Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia, and Marina Shafir. He'll take on Garcia this weekend on Collision with the title on the line. Wheeler Yuta calls him a chicken and Garcia says everything about you is kinda sad.
Hey, but what's gonna be even more sad is when I beat you on Saturday and you have to figure out how to provide for your family with a broken leg.
Briscoe fires back saying it would be a shame to deprive the people of a fight here tonight in Hotlanta.
So if you feeling brave, son, make your move.
Playing a dangerous game here, Mark Briscoe.
Also, a brief episode of Crowd Watch, but Mark Briscoe fears corn on the cob. Huh. Also, why is Sting in the crowd? Also, what's wrong with corn on the cob? Or eating it the long way? Daniel Garcia was hot after this, though, being restrained by the Riders as Briscoe stands tall.
Answers with a right hand, and Garcia being restrained by Marina and Yuta. Mark should really punch Wheeler Yuta too.
He's cooking here, brother.
We then see the Triangle of Madness continuing to send a message to Kris Statlander.
Almost a mirror image of what we saw Saturday at Collision, Tony.
Yeah, they were beating up the locker room then. Oh, look at this!
Kris comes barging in with no remorse, swinging that steel chair. I think I've said it before, but I love Tekla. I honestly didn't even know much about her pre-AEW, but I've really enjoyed her work since she arrived. We then see 2/3 of the World's Trios champion Shibata and Hobbs against Swerve and Hangman. It started off crazy with Page and Strickland entering from the crowd with chains as they took out the dojo. It then goes ahead and spills into the concourse amongst everybody.
Up on the shoulder and through the table on the cutter and the pulls up short.
Eventually, the action gets back to the ring, and it was a real treat seeing the story between Swerve and Hangman continue to develop. They're low-key finally on the same page after their storied history.
Well, he can really go. Look at this. Double team.
450 from Swerve.
And then Bryan Danielson goes ahead and drops the most fire bar of the year.
Now, Swerve leaps.
It's clear winter is coming when hell already seems to have frozen over. Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland are finally teaming up.
Shibata, Strickland, 1, 2, 3.
We would then see Josh Alexander watching on, and he's watching TV you're watching TV like a normal? He'll take on Swerve this weekend on Collision. We then see Don Callis challenging the Young Bucks to find a partner for the $1 million match that I mentioned earlier. I'm sorry, I told you ahead of time. I just can't contain my excitement around seeing Okada and Omega next week. Oh my god.
So, what do you say we do this one more time?
See you in Manchester. Goodbye. Mwah. And good night. Bang.
We then see Stokely Hathaway, who says that the Bang Bang Gang will get a title shot next week against FTR, as we transition into a banger between Speedball Mike Bailey and Kyle Fletcher, where I have to say, we saw it earlier in the show, but seeing Renee Paquette reporting on the Classic as it unfolds is a very nice touch.
Crossbody intercepted.
Big mistake.
Fletcher. Drive.
Kyle Fletcher has quickly risen into being one of my favorites on this roster because he is just so damn great. And so is Mike Bailey. Like, please look at this insane fucking pump, please.
Fletcher.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
These boys were out here to prove a point to somebody, or maybe rent was due.
Bailey. Fletcher. Center. 1, 2.
Either way, this was a tremendous match, and it's matches like this that restore your love for professional wrestling. If, say, for example, your vision has become blurry.
1 minute remaining.
Wait a second here. 1, 2, 3.
As always, I love when matches are won by simply smart pinfall sequences, and that is exactly what we see here as Bailey pulls off the upset. Bailey gets 3 points as Okada and Fletcher remain tied at the top of the Gold League. We then hear from the Hangman, who says regardless of who leaves as world champion,
at World's End, I am coming for you, and I am coming for my world championship.
And finally, it was time for the main event, Samoa Joe, Eddie Kingston for the title.
Few people on planet Earth who can stand there and go toe-to-toe with Samoa Joe.
These guys were rocking each other with those chops.
Both men swinging for the fences here.
Oh, that one might have got Eddie Kingston in the throat.
He eventually chops Joe so hard that he drops the champion, which is rare.
The STF is cinched in.
Kingston going blow for blow with Joe, and even feeling the wrath of Joe's John Cena reference right there. A salute to the GOAT, of course. But Kingston frees himself by biting Joe's thumb, and in the end, Joe's coquina clutch is just too much for Kingston as he submits.
Eddie fighting with all his might!
But Eddie, he's fading!
Overall, I'd say a solid winter had come, and I am very, very excited for Dynamite and Collision next week, the Holiday Bash in Manchester.